So basically, we have several sections we're going to work in, and the first one is, which is this, is introduction to mobile testing. And the importance of this introduction is to have an understanding on what a mobile application is and its various types, so that when we start working as a mobile tester, we know what to look out for. We know what to plan, how to plan our testing, the strategies, and how to what devices we need to know, and then how to write our test cases, how to access data in order to test our applications properly. And just a quick one, because a lot of, for us, I was an intern as well, just to share a little experience about this mobile testing. Initially, I didn't know much about this mobile testing, but when I got a job and I was asked to handle the mobile testing, because first of all, it's on my CV. I passed through Blue Sky Standard as well as an intern, and I was taught mobile testing. But this is an organization that has been established for like 30 years, and they've never done mobile testing. So it was when I joined, and they now asked me to take up the mobile application. This is something I don't really put interest in, as in when I was working, it was basically an automation of web applications, not mobile application, because mobile application is, the way we test mobile application is quite different from the way we test web application. Bombard and web are quite different software applications. So, and I was just like, and I can't tell them I can't do it because it's already on my CV. So I have to go all over and over again and try to know what it is. So that is why it's also very, very important, because no knowledge is a waste. So I'm just trying to say that no knowledge is a waste. This is not what I planned doing in my place of when I get a job, but at the end of the day, this is what I'm doing in my place of work. You understand what I'm saying? So please, can you mute yourself, please? So this is basically the importance of every section that we are doing. No section is a waste, because out there, like I said earlier, we don't know which one will fetch you your job. So now let's go into today's activity. So these are all what I'm going to discuss with us today, because it's an introduction to mobile testing. We're going to talk about what is mobile testing, types of mobile platforms, types of mobile applications, types of mobile devices, challenges, importance, criticalities, and we also talk about categories of mobile testing. We look at the best practices we can use in our various workplaces, and also what are the mobile testing tools that we need to do. So let's just move forward. So what is mobile testing? What is the concept behind this mobile testing? So can you mute yourself, please?
Okay, later.
Please, can you mute yourself? Thank you. So as I was saying, mobile testing is a procedure to test mobile applications for usability, functionalities, and consistency-free glitches. That is the major reason why we are testing our mobile applications. Usability, in the sense that how the size, the shape, the screen, and everything like that. How is our users, how would they feel the easy way to navigate from one pages to another? When they click on any functionalities, are they able to have any access? Is there any glitches that might warrant them not to be able to look at it, or maybe to be able to do something that has to do with what we are doing, to ensure that the application offer conveniences in terms of browsing, and also that customers are satisfied with the user interface. They're able to use it. Let me just put it that way: is to use application. So that is usability. Then functionalities, that to be ensured that all the functionalities are working. It's not that button is not working, or when there is a link, the link is not connecting to where it's supposed to connect to. So making sure that all the functionalities in the applications are okay. Everything is consistency. We look at the performance. We look at everything, that everything is glitch free. That there's nothing that would cause a complaint, or that you're testing an application and there's a feedback on that particular application, that it has something that is not working. So that is not good enough on our own side as a tester as well. Then also mobile testing is testing mobile application. Mobile application testing is very different from web testing, and that was what I mentioned earlier, because there are specific that are needed to be considered before performing mobile application testing. Like I said earlier, mobile application is different from web applications. There are things that you need to know, that you have to be considering from time to time before you venture into doing your mobile applications. So, and things that we need to know is we need to verify if the application supports record sounds, everything. We need to verify if the password is displayed, or just like the normal verification that we need to do. We need to make sure that the screen, when you type the screen, everything is working perfectly, and it is not freezing. There's no time when the customer is using it, there is a freezes anywhere. And also to if you use this sensor, the application is connected is connected very well to the sensor, or the application is correctly driven by these sensors. Everything like that we need to know, because it's quite different. The way we test something like this is quite different from the way we'll test our applications on other devices. Then also testing mobile browsers or native apps, which you download or access directly from mobile browsers. Same as creating a test plan, test cases, test data, condition scenario, and the rest like that. Like I said, I explained earlier, that basically I think we all know how we can write our test cases when we want to run any test on web applications. So for mobile testing that has either mobile browser or native app, because I'm going to explain what do we mean by native apps. So how do okay, like for native apps, which you have to download and install. So how do you test something that you downloaded and install? So these are all the things that we're going to look at, how we can create test cases on something you downloaded or access directly from the mobile browsers, how we write our test data on what test data to look into, the conditions and scenario, and the likes like that. Why is it not moving? What happened? So also we'll look at the performance, the security, the integration and installation, look at functional and non-functional issues with mobile app testing, then what happens with installation, integration with the other apps. So basically what this is explaining is, I'm coming, that we need to look at our don't put it this way. Sorry for 1 minute, sorry. I'm trying to give some things to some people. It's okay, it's okay. Okay, sorry about that. So what I'm saying is, looking at performance, when we want to, mobile testing is basically also looking at the performance, security, integration and installation. We look at the functional and non-functional issues with mobile application testing, then what happens with installation, integration and the likes. Like for example, when if we are actually looking at application, for example, we have our banking applications that we use our mobile phones. So, and when we are working on the performance testing, we are looking at the performance side of it. You know, for example, if you are in a football in a stadium and there's a particular applications that so many people are using over there, because we have millions of people in the stadium maybe watching a match, and you try to open this particular app which majority of people uses there as well, and it's giving you issues. You know, it won't be any application that does that is not really good, and it doesn't portray good brand of that company. So it's part of what we have to look at. Then for the security part of it is that, is it easy for hackers to hack it? So we make sure that the security of our mobile application is very, very tight, and the integration to other applications, how easy it is it giving any issues, and the installation, is it easy to install, or is it difficult? Is the installation very difficult? So those are the things we need to look at, and those are the things we look how we are going to run our test on them. Also, and several functional and non-functional testing issues that we need to know about, which we will also be looking at in the course of the training. Also, we also look at the orientation, the battery, the network. What happens to the app when the battery is down is very, very important. We need to look at it as well. When orientation changes from landmark to portrait, how does it appear? Is it that during when the user said to use portrait, part of the features, part of the UI is as called or something like that. So these are the things we need to look at, and also the network, each connected in the network aspect of it. So we need to look at it as well. How is the connectivity? Is it that when customer wanted to change from maybe mobile data to Wi-Fi, how does it behave? Does it have any issues? Is the mobile application bringing any inches or anything like that? And also, and so on and so forth like that. Then also we look at the emulation, so manual and a bit of automation. So this emulation is basically they are our cloud-based virtual devices. So, and the usefulness of this emulation, we call them emulators, is that you don't need to buy whole devices. Like, for example, you want to test a particular applications and you have to test it on Android, and on Android, we have different Androids. We have Google Pixel, we have Samsung, we have so many devices on the Android. So you don't need to start buying everything. So it is the work of these emulators to help us, and they are all cloud based, and there are companies that basically that basically have all these cloud emulators, and some of them are free, some give free trials, some most companies have to like pay to so that they can have more test coverage for most of the devices, and also how the testing is going to, how do we test on mobile, how do you do manual testing on devices like that, and also a bit, we look at also bits of automation as time goes on. How do we automate our mobile testing? Because it's not just like the web driver, like the web application that I said, that when you set up your Selenium, you create all your folders, you start running all your tests, you fill in your folders, your hooks and everything like that. Basically, you don't have all of those things in automation, but there's automation testing in mobile. So how does it connect? So we look at all those things. How people are getting along with me?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're making progress, making sense.
Okay. Okay. So, and we have what we call mobile platforms. So these mobile platforms are they include our operating system, that is OS. So sometimes if I'm not saying operating system and I'm saying OS, please do understand that what I mean is operating systems. And then devices, platform devices, operating systems. Then we look at types of mobile devices. So, first of all, what is this operating system that we are talking about in mobile platform? Technically, an operating system is a software designed for mobile phones to run all the mobile functions on the hardware. And then these operating systems, they are designed to control all the basic operations that are necessary to install and run an application. That is the essence of this. That is what is operating system, because I'm sure so many of us will have been hearing operating system, but might not really know what it is basically. So, and that is just the definition I just gave. And also, there are top 5 mobile operating systems that we have, and that is what you have seen here. We have iOS, we have Android, we have Windows, we have BlackBerry, and the last one is called Symbian. And when we get there, so I'm going, because that is basically what majority of us have been using before, but we don't know that is a Symbian devices OS operating system that we are using. And also, for the benefit of those that don't really know much about the mobile operating systems your own mobile phones owns. So many of us, we use this Android, so many of us, we use this iOS, but we don't even know what is really about the phone. So, and what are the usefulness of even this phone? Because just majority of us, we just use it, okay, just to call, to browse, that is just what we know about our operating system. But as a tester, as a mobile tester, you need to know what entails in this particular application. So it's very, very important. So to start with iOS, and to start with Android, because Android is very popular and is basically the highest, it has the highest users. A lot of people use Android than iPhone. So, and that is just what the statistics says anyway. But some people do argue about it. I heard that iPhone is okay, is good, but statistics shows that Android users are more than iOS. So, Android operating system, it was established September 28, 2008, and it was manufactured by Google. So Google manufactured Android, and they have been having several releases after the first release. And also there is also developers love to use Android for testing. Someone like me, because even the developers and testers, just to be precise, we love using Android because it's easier. And when developers are building it, they find it more easier to build than iOS, than iPhones. Because the major reason for this is that for ease navigation, Android phone is very easy. When you are running your test, you can to look for your to locate your elements, navigation and anything like that is easier than that of iOS. Then also location control for Android phones is very, very good. Then privacy test settings for Android phones also very, very perfect, and they have better notifications control as well. So that is why a lot of developers and testers love to test on Android. But in as much as is an application, Android phone is not only used by users, and you can't predict or tell your customers what type of operating systems they have to use for your products. It's only if it's only if the company are not ready to make progress, or the company is not ready to satisfy their customers. So in as much as you can't predict that, so we also need to look at iOS. The iOS is basically it was established 29th June 2007 by Apple, and we all know these Apples and everything like that, and how they have always be updating the devices. And one thing is that iOS is why developers don't really like using iOS is because testers is because, one, even if you're testing a particular product, if care is not taken, before you know it, another iOS is knocking. You just feeling that another iOS is on the way, and you have to, and the rush of users is, once they love to upgrade, because iOS give that room for you to upgrade your, like iPhone, you can upgrade your devices anytime, and a lot of people love to use the update, because what Apple does is, whenever there is an update, they always add new features that will attract customers to the phone. So this has always been the strategy they use, and a lot of people have been using that as, oh, there's another one, like the latest iPhone now, that it calls emergency itself. Emergency number, it calls itself. You put it underwater, it's working. And when you're in when you have an accident, it can call emergency lines for you. A lot of people are like, wow. So, and just because of that, they will upgrade into it. And as you, as a tester, that you're still working on a particular iOS version, and before you know it, a lot of people are trooping into the updated versions, and you have to be on top of your game. And that particular one, that particular upgraded versions as well need to be tested. And basically, why is the iPhones people seems is most popular and powerful operating system? For me, like I said earlier, you know, the emergency button the new one has, and also every time they update, they have updated versions. They have they always improve their app privacy. That is one thing about iOS, and also the QR code got enhancements as well. So that is, and the downside of this iOS is if you are not keeping up to maybe like 4 or 5 of the versions, you know, if you have those lower versions, you find out that you are updated completely from what they have in the new version. So this iPhone is basically, you have to be from time to time be updating, you have to follow the trend of what the company is doing, because after some time, you know, you just get updated as well. Then we have, so let me talk for Windows. You know, Windows operating system is basically we use Windows for our desktop and laptop as well. And the operating system is basically by Microsoft, so it's a Microsoft product. So so for those people, for some of us that have used this Windows before, we know that when it comes to like navigation, or we are trying to press something, it's so hard, and you can't. They don't allow most of these other operating system to. Sometimes I think if you want to call somebody from other network, you find it hard to do on this Windows operating system or something like that. And just like Android, just like iPhone as well, there are some pains that the iPhone doesn't even allow any integration on their phone. You can't do any Android things on their phone, and that is just one thing about they are just specific. They are so specific about their products, and just the same thing as iPhone. Like Windows as well. So for BlackBerry, it's, I'm sure some of us have used BlackBerry before, and the major reason why a lot of people use this BlackBerry then, and some still use this because they still have some updated versions, is because when you are typing, it is as if you are typing on the keyboard. So if some of us have used this BlackBerry before, you know, when you have this BlackBerry something, it's as if we are using keyboard. So a lot of people love this like that, enjoy the keyboard, this thing, unlike every other operating systems that you just have to like press. Then we have what we call like Symbian operating system. Actually, we all have used this Symbian before, and I can say probably 99% of us have used it, but we just don't know that this is Symbian operating system, and very, very popular. In fact, virtually everybody have used it. Virtually everybody have used it before, especially if you are a Nigerian. So if you're a Nigerian, you know, this is what basically a lot of people have used. I think every part of the world as well used this Symbian before, and it's nothing but Nokia phones. You know, Nokia phones is being used by most of us, but because Nokia phone, they are just fighting for existence, so they are not really popular again, and so many people are not using them again. So, and as a tester, and you were asked to do a mobile testing, so would you rather go and be testing Symbian operating system? Because since you knew that these are Nokia phones, so because on most of these platforms, okay, yes, they are there, Nokia, something, but you know, it's not something you will do and go and, because it's, when you are running tests on it, it's like waste of time, waste of resources, because always the cloud-based emulators that we'll be using, most companies that does mobile applications goes into enterprise, and they pay. It's not a small money they paid, and they are paying on your behalf. So, and it won't be good, and it won't be a good thing. You are half there and you are asked to run a test, and you are running your test on Nokia devices as a tester. Even your boss will tell you if you are okay, that are you okay? You understand what I'm saying? So it's always good for us to know the importance of this introduction, like I said, because introduction to mobile testing is very, very good, so that people will know the importance of what to do and know what to do. If you know what platforms is, you know, if you know what is operating system is, you know which one and which one to go into, and which one not to go into. For your test coverage, basically, you as a tester, it's good to have your enough test coverage on operating systems that you know the majority of users are using. It's good to run your tests on operating devices, even apart from now on operating system that people are using, which basically iOS and Android, or probably Windows. Some companies might ask you to run on Windows as well. But even despite the fact that you are running your mobile you are running your mobile testing on some operating systems like Android and iOS, but it's not still okay for you to now start running your tests on versions that are below. So from time to time, as a mobile tester, you need to be updating yourself on the updates of all these operating systems. Very, very key, very, very important, so that you know the versions that are currently on, you know the versions that are going outdated, so that you won't just waste your time running your tests on just any devices and any devices and saying, oh, I'm running a mobile testing, because once it's a mobile testing, let me run my devices on them. No, that is not a good practice. So that is why we have also best practices, how we can run our devices. So, and that is basically that one. So we have types of mobile applications. So like I said earlier, you know, these types of mobile application, we have talked about types of platform. Now we just talked about types of platform, which we have Android, we have iOS, we have Windows, and we have BlackBerry. And also there are types of mobile applications. So these mobile applications and the types of mobile application you are testing, it plays a very important role in defining your testing process. So be very clear about which type of mobile app you will be testing. Why we need to know types of mobile application is basically like is being spelled there, that is, it plays a role in for you to be able to define, oh, this is, because the way the way you will test a mobile application is different from the way you will test a native app, and is different from the way you will test an hybrid app. You know, unlike web application that you can just be running your tests on anything. No, for mobile application, there are specific types of applications you can have. Web application doesn't have anything. You just would start running your test on the, once you have your URL, say go pay, you know. Oh, sorry. So once you have your URL, you just continue running your test like that. But in mobile application, you have to know which one is which. You should be able to differentiate which application is which one. So we have basically we have three types. These three types are your mobile web applications. We have the native app applications, and we have the hybrid applications. What are these mobile web applications? Mobile web applications have the web pages open through the mobile browser. Like, it's an application. For example, BBC, we have BBC. BBC is, you just put in the URL bbc.something. So if you want to maybe listen to news or weather like that, you just put BBC News or weather, or you just go to the website bbc.com. It brings out the BBC website for you. You can either check your news, your weather, sports, whatever you want to look at. That is what we call mobile web application, because you are using URL to access the application. And that is why web apps are not real applications. So they are not real applications. They are actually websites that open on your smartphones, like I said, with the help of a browser. See, in as much as you have your URL to it, like our Gmail. So many of us, we don't download Gmail. Once you get Gmail, you go to Google, search Google, Gmail, press it. It brings out your sign up, everything like that. You click on sign in. It brings out how you can sign in. The same thing as Yahoo. Even some of us, even YouTube, some of us will just go to YouTube on our web browser. So when we go to YouTube on our web browser, you click on it, it brings out YouTube for you, start watching what you want to watch. So basically, that is for web applications. Okay. The benefits of mobile web applications is let me just put this thing here. Okay. Cheapest options for delivering a mobile user experience for news, like I said earlier, for weather, e-commerce, currency. You're not downloading anything. You are not installing anything. Oh, like for example, on e-commerce website, eBay, type eBay. You want to purchase maybe a shoe, eBay. When you type eBay, it brings out eBay website for you. eBay website will direct you on whatever, on any product you want to purchase. You purchase it, you are done. You pay right from there. You didn't download eBay app. So that is what we call web application. Basically, you use URL to access that application. And also the examples I gave, also weather for BBC or Sky or Sky, anyone, you have your URL, press it, you enter, and you do whatever you want to do. Currency converters. I'm sure none of us ever downloaded any currency converters. You go on Google, search, even be searching for the lowest black market rate to be able to, like, you are not downloading anything, and you don't need to know any app before you can use it. Once you put it on Google, Google will bring out everything for you. You access the applications, any application via browser. So that is what we call mobile web applications. Then because it's very easy to access, is once you know your URL, you access it easily. There's no glitch, there's nothing. In as much as the application is okay, or if they don't have any technical issue, you access the web application easily. Easy development and adapted to different screens. Yes, this is basically because it's just for you to build the website. Once you have the website, and you can, people can have access to the website. That is it. You are not doing any other thing aside that. And no matter how the size of your mobile devices is, you will always have access to it. No matter how it is, in as much as testers have done all the thorough testing. So that is why I said that when we are testing, okay, I'm still going to tell us how many, what we need to look at when we are doing our testing. If not in this class, or probably in our next class, we'll do that. So because it's part of what we need to look like. Supposing as a tester, you didn't tested a screen of a mobile devices, and a user, the application went live. A user wanted to use, some users have iPhone, have mobile, have iPhone, have Android, and they want to maybe do same thing, or something like that. Some people also can do something so reasonable, or like they just want to. Some people are so inquisitive that they want to see what is happening. And on mobile devices, the screen is anyhow, and on iOS, the screen is anyhow. These are the things we need to look at when we are running our tests. It's very, very important, and because it's easily detectable if a mobile device is not run very well. So it's not tested very well, rather. So we just have to be on top of our game, half there. And easy to update and deploy is that once you want to update any of your devices, organizations know how they run their updates. So one is updated, some call it maintenance time. That's why sometimes, and because even it's very good, because these web applications, most times when they have been updated, you don't have any glitch. You never see, oh, we're under maintenance, or we are nothing, and you will not know when it's being updated, but from time to time they are upgrading it and they are deploying it immediately. But users will never know that, oh, they are updating any applications. Unlike some native app that once you log in, once you download it, you want to do anything there, they'll tell you no, that we are on maintenance. So, and that is why some companies, they always prefer to have both web applications and also native application. That is why that is the work of and hybrid applications anyway. So we are still going to that. Then just to continue with our mobile application, then no installation required as compared to native or hybrid apps. You're not installing anything, like I said earlier. What you need to have is the URL. So once you have your URL, you delve into it, look at whatever you want to do whatever you want to do, and you're done. Then the disadvantage is that it's not available offline because it uses URL. If you don't have network, you can't have access to it. And also, the app doesn't have an icon home screen because it's URL. There's no how there will be like you download if you don't download eBay, there's no how you can have it on your phone as installed, because that you can, okay, this is my phone, this is eBay, let me tap eBay and let me start purchasing whatever I want to purchase. No. Or this is BBC, let me just do whatever I want to do, tap into the icon, let it open the screen for me. No, because they are web-based, it uses URL. So they don't use icon. You just have to input it on the browser, and it uses browser only to have access to the web applications. So the website needs to be open in a web browser only, and that is basic truth about web application. It can only be opened via a web browser only. No more, no less on that. So that is basically what is web applications. So also another type of mobile application is native app. What is this native app? Native app, this is developed specifically for one platform and can be installed via an application store, such as Google Play Store for people that use Android operating system, and App Store for people that uses iOS operating system. So an example of this native app, we have them so much. Your banking applications like Barclays, NatWest, like the likes of that, you have to download it on, you have to download and install these particular applications on your phone. Facebook, you have to download Facebook on your phone. Spotify, you have to download. Netflix, download. WhatsApp, that we all have, we have to install and download this, because you can't go on www.whatsapp and you said you want to start connect your connection from, you have the URL of WhatsApp and you want to start installing. No, you have to go through the application store before you can install them. Same as Instagram, the TikTok people are using, you just have to like download them. So that is what we mean by native app. Native app is that application is particularly for one, it's just for this platform. You just have to, and you have to install and to be able to access it. So the benefits of native app, like I said, native app leaks on the device and they are accessed through icons on the device's home screen. Our WhatsApp, when we open our mobile devices, you scroll, where's WhatsApp? You click WhatsApp and WhatsApp, then you start doing whatever you want to do. Same as Instagram, you go, because you've already installed it on your mobile devices, you just have to go and click on the icon like that. Your bank mobile applications, you just go to your bank application where you have installed it on your mobile devices. You click on it, you start then doing whatever you want to do. Unlike eBay that you don't have on your mobile devices, that you have to use URL to do. Then also, for the benefits of native app also continues, they can take full advantage of all the device features. They can use the camera, the GPS, the contact list, and so on and so forth. Because you have, like, for example, WhatsApp, you can call someone through a WhatsApp. You can do camera, you can camera yourself. So it has a connection with from the camera. You take a picture of yourself, and your picture of yourself, you can send your picture to someone else. So it has its own connectivity, a few features, device, whatever the application, whatever the features you have on your phone, it will be able to do it. Once it's downloaded, you can do so many things. If you have camera on your phone, you can use WhatsApp. All you need to do is go WhatsApp, camera, you can paste it. So they have connectivities like that. You make videos, you send your videos through Instagram, because you have video on your mobile devices where you can video, and with the video you can use it to do so many things. Your contact list, when you can do so many things, with native app, because they take full advantage of the device's features. Then we have native apps. Also, native apps can use the device's notification system and can work offline. Yeah, when iPhone is being updated, or when WhatsApp is being updated, they will tell you that they are doing that you can update it like that, because the devices, they have notification system. So the notification system will always prompt the app to notify you on your phone. So anytime there is an update, you get notification, because that is what your devices has it already, and it can work offline. And a native app can work. We can work offline wherever you are. If you don't have internet, you can start watching anything on your downloaded app. It will work. And also, publishers can make use of push notifications, alerting users every time a new piece of content is published or when their attention is required. That was just what I just explained. Because you have all this notification on your devices, so this app, the native app, make use of it to they make connections with it, and they can alert you on whatever any updates they are doing. So you get as much as alerts on whatever you are doing, because they have notification, compared to when you are using native app, that even when it's been upgraded, you don't even know. Some banking apps, when you want to do anything on them, provincial, you want to do maybe transfer, and you didn't know that application requires an update, and they will tell you if you don't update it, you can't do anything. So that's part of the push application, because they will alert you every time there is a content and which you have to do. That is the benefit of this native app, compared to web application that when updates is done, you are not aware. You don't even know when there's any updates, or you just go into the application, do whatever you want to do, make use of the application, and you leave. Also, the usefulness of native apps. Native apps maintain the UI design of each operating system. Thus, they offer the best user experience. For example, the way some UI is being designed on iOS is different from how it's being designed on Android. It's the same native app application, but the UI design usually differs. For example, header alignment it can be different from iOS from iOS, from operating system to operating system, sorry. So the one for example, the one for iPhone, you can have maybe the header at the right or top or bottom, and you have that of Android left or right or top, whatever. So it's usually like that. If you notice it, if you have an Android phone and you have iOS phone, if you download the same applications, where the UI design usually differs. So, and it has been programmed, so it's always like that. It's always like that. So, and that is the benefit of native apps, and that is why loads and loads of companies have native apps, because they know the two highest mobile platforms that people use, operating system that people use, is Android and iOS. They always deploy the application on these two operating systems. So as a tester, that is what you need to know. That is what you need to understand. When you are out there, so you talk to your manager, probably they might ask that you be the only one doing it. So you just have to have the idea that because if you don't have the idea and you are testing an application on iOS and you're testing an application on Android, and the UI design differs, you will be scared. You fail the test, and your developer will just be laughing at you. That so you don't know that the UI design changes, because it if not that I have watched so many mobile application, it almost happened to me as well, because when I was running my test, the iOS UI is not what I'm getting on Android. So I was a little bit confused, because like I said earlier, I don't put mind in this mobile testing initially until when I got a job and have to be the one that handles mobile application of the company. So it becomes like, so I have to like rush into videos to start. Though I have an idea, I was in the training as well. So the idea quickly like come back to me, and I was able to do what I needed to do for the native app. Basically, it's a native app that I need to test. So, if I don't know, I'll just fail the test, and developer will just be looking at me that what is wrong with this lady. So that is part of the importance of how we need to know and be able to differentiate all these platforms, types of mobile applications. Mobile application is very interesting, and that is just what I would just say to that. Then the disadvantage, which is the downside, is the high cost of building the app. Because if there is an update, or peradventure there is a new version, they have to build everything all over again. That is the disadvantage of this mobile app. If they want to add new features to the existing one, they need to start all over again. That is the work. That is the disadvantage of this native app. But even despite that, most companies don't mind. They still went ahead to do it, to have it. And also, native app developed for one particular will not run another platform. If a native app is supposed to be, for example, we have this native app that is meant to run on this is the one that is meant to run on iOS, and you now run it on Android, it will not work, because mobile testing, each of these platforms, mobile devices, operating system, they have their own, there's something, they have like their own bundle. They will go into that as well. They have the bundle for iOS that will make connections to whatever you want to do on iOS is different from the one you will use for Android. And also, every one of all these, the native app is built on different versions, on different devices. They have the connections to iOS is different from connections to Android. When we are running some of these tests, so I will show you something, and I will let you know that this is what we have explained before. That once an app is developed for a particular platform, it does not run on another. So you will see, because it will even reject you. Some of these cloud virtual devices will tell you that is not it, so that you have to use the one for Android. So basically, so we delve into that as well, because that is what you need to know, that a particular app developed for one platform will not run another one, so that when you are half there and you're supposed to run an Android, peradventure you ask for you ask for your bundle file, and the developer gives you the one for iOS, and you don't know that what the developer give you is an iOS. You are not doing anything on Android. It won't even go. So you'll be wondering, and you'll be fighting your developer that he gave you the wrong one, not knowing that he gave you the right one, and what he has given you is for iOS, and when you run it on iOS, it will run. So eventually you give it the one for Android, and you want to run it on iOS, it will not work. So these are the things we need to know. These are the things we need to understand about mobile testing, especially on native app. So, and that is why even when they are doing maintenance, we need to maintain multiple versions of the app. Maintenance about it, because you have to continue maintaining for different platforms. Android is different from iOS. If iOS have upgraded version, you just have to go to the iOS versions and maintain and do your maintenance there. If Android has not made their own version, you don't need to do anything there. So that is just the difference, and you just have to be consistent. If one is updating, another one is not updating. Instead of you to update everything together, no, you have to stick to the one that is updating. If the other one is not updating, you leave it. So that is just it. That is just part of the downside that most companies felt is just giving an headache. Also, as mobile brings more traffic, so maintenance is higher because it's the world population now uses mobile. Nobody is carrying laptop everywhere to be doing anything. Nobody carries, even if you have tablets, you don't use tablets as often as you use mobile, because mobile is handy. Even you just find out that some people, even now, to join any meeting, just join through your mobile. So, and that is basically, and the more a lot of people do so many things on mobile devices, the more the maintenance has to be is high. You just have to, because it brings more traffic, and the more the traffic, your maintenance to maintain your native app will be high. Then app that is specific to the iOS have regular auto updates. Like I explained this earlier, iOS, they always do updates. So, and as a tester, you have to be updating yourself from time to time, because if you don't know that iOS has iPhone 14, 15, or 16, and you are still thinking they are having iPhone 11 or 13 or 12, and some of your customers already purchased iPhone 14, and you find out that they say they cannot have access to your app. You know how the company will look at it, because you are in charge. You and developer, you are in charge, and you should be able to run your tests on, even if developer has developed it and you don't know that the developer has developed, has updated his own site to the latest updates, to the latest version. Now you don't know as a tester, and you went and be testing the one that is not updated. You always have issues. That is why, as a mobile tester, we need to keep up to date with our technology. From time to time, know which version is current for whatever tools you're using. Ensure you know the current version and how it's being used, like that. So also types of mobile banking. Types of mobile testing app. We have hybrid apps. Hybrid apps are a way to expose content from existing websites in app formats. They can be well described as a mixture of web app and native app. Like I said earlier, this hybrid app is, you can, for example, this Wikipedia, when you Google Wikipedia on your URL, wikipedia.com, HTTP, it gives you everything about Wikipedia, but also you can download it. On Instagram, www.instagram, you have access to some things on Instagram that you can check through your URL, and you can as well download it. But for Instagram, if you are using your the URL, you are limited, because you will get to some things. It will tell you have to install it, because you have to input your whatever all your informations. So basically, and also Twitter. On Twitter, you can go on Twitter, use your laptop and your tablet, start trolling through Twitter like that. So, and you can also download it on your. You can also download and install it at the same time. You can just use URL twitter.com to access whatever you want to access. Then hybrid apps, we can say hybrid app is an amalgamation of mobile, web, and native app web. That's basically what is hybrid apps. That is what it does. You can have it. You can use websites to access it, and you can also download it and install it. Okay, I hope we are cleared about the 3 types of mobile testing apps.
Yes.
Hope we are cleared, or is it confusing?
Clear.
Yes, we are clear.
Okay, thank you. And benefits of hybrid apps is that developing a hybrid app is cheaper than developing a native app. And that is, so some organization, what they do is they go on hybrid, so that if you can't install it, at least you say have access to the URL. So at least you can still do something with the app. So that is why some organizations prefer to use hybrid app. Even if you're not downloading it, at least you can go on URL and use whatever you want to use. Then also it can be built for cross platforms. So it can be built for cross platforms. You can have it on both operating system. You can have it on any of the Android, any of the iOS. So it works. You can use it on anything you want to use it on your mobile devices. Then maintenance is simple, as there are not many versions to be maintained. Because it's hybrid, you can, if native app is not working, you go on URL and it works and it's fine. Then it takes advantage of the new features available in the device. So that is the power of the native app for this hybrid that you can make use of. Then it can be found in the App Store or Play Store, which makes distribution easier. And that is the part of the native app that hybrid embraces. Because like I said earlier, native app is only ones that you can install through your App Store or Play Store. So that is part of advantages that hybrid is having. So it's either you install it, you don't install it, or you decide to use the URL like that, so you use your browser, so you are good. So then it has a browser embedded within the app only. Like I said, you use your URL and you are good to make use of the application. And the downside is that hybrid apps are slower than native apps. Yes, hybrid apps are slower because, if, for example, a lot of people can use either method to do whatever they want to do with it, compared to native app that is installed on your system, just click the icon and you are done. But for hybrid, some you can try to use URL. Some people can even, they will open two screens, one for URL and one for still using the same application for hybrid. They would use URL to access the application, at the same time uses native app. So all these things make the apps slower on your mobile devices, and that is basically the downside of it. Then we have types of mobile devices. We have real devices and emulator devices. So when we are out there, we have, all of us, we use real devices day to day. We all have, we use real devices, but out there as a tester, you want to run your test. You can't run your test on real devices only. How many real devices do you want, will the organization buy for you? No. So you have to use emulator devices, which are virtual devices, and they are based in cloud. Then also real devices with type of mobile devices. We have the real devices. We have the ones with different types of operating systems, like Apple. We have Android, Windows, BlackBerry, and Nokia. You know, people use these different ones. People use Android. People use Apple, Windows. Anyone you feel you want to use, you use it. Then great deals of manual effort to test, especially when testing on numerous devices. So the emulators, because when you want to run your test on devices, so emulator is the best because you will have enough test coverage, because it has so many devices you can use. So many, you can find out that you have like almost for Samsung, you can have like almost like 540 devices that you can use, because they listed them there like that. For Samsung, for Google and the likes like that. So you have every devices to some great extent that you can run your test on. So that is for the emulators. And also expenses to acquire and test on all devices. This is basically for real devices, because like I said earlier, you can't have all your devices. Maybe you now ask your company to buy all the devices, which is not possible. So that is why we need to know types of mobile devices we have there and their usefulness. And okay, why is it that I can't use real devices? Because we will be using real devices to run our test, or we can use we can use emulators devices to run our test. So you know, we just look at which one is much more convenient for us and we run our test. But out there, in your place of work, you have to use emulator devices. Although you can also you can use your whole mobile devices as well to run, because you have every of the documentation with you that you can use to run your test. So you can also be using your mobile, just one, to run the test to be sure that yes, everything is okay, and also use your emulators as well. So then also emulator devices, a big list of different devices, you know, like that. They have so many they have so many versions, like I said earlier, and hosted on the cloud. They are open source paid versions, and we have free trials for some. And most organization uses paid versions because it has so much devices for enough test coverage. That is basically why they go for the paid versions than free versions, free trials. Because for free trials, you are limited to some, and also some will tell you can only use 2 minutes to run your test. So, and how do you want to use 2 minutes to run your test before you can get your, before you can inspect your elements? 2 minutes is already gone. So, and that is why so many companies use paid versions where you can spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes with running one test. So that is just that. And the emulators are easy to use, require less manual effort, and provide logs. Yes, when you are using emulators, it's so easy because you just go on the devices, click on whatever devices you want to to use. For example, if you want to use Samsung, you go on Samsung, click on Samsung. It will give you several versions of Samsung. Use the one, anyone you want to pick it, run your test manually, and as you are running it, you are seeing the logs, and they have a functionality that will provide you the logs. You can screenshot, you can do so many things, and even you can, and for the automation part, the automation is even connected if you are to your company's maybe Azure DevOps. It's connected to your pipeline and everything like that. So most companies uses these emulators because it's easier, and with the emulators they have a record how you are running your test. It will be showing you how each test is being run. So that is the work of these emulators, and it provides you report. Like I said, you will see when you start running your test, it will give you the time when it finishes, when you finish running and everything, and you can capture screenshots, like I said. So it's very easy. Just press the screenshots functionalities, and you're done. So, and it's cost effective anyway, because you are gaining more than the cost the company pays, because you can test your application on so many devices, and you can spend much time to ensure proper testing on each of the devices that you are testing for your on your application. So it's very, very cost effective. The what you are doing is more than the cost itself, and what you are gaining is more than the cost itself, compared to the real devices where you don't have any reports. Once you run your test, that is it. And when it passes, you just know that, oh, it passes. So there's no report to know that, oh, this is how it is, like that. So that is why a lot of companies, like I said earlier, uses these emulators. Then the downside of mobile devices is slower and relies on speed of the devices being used, cannot stimulate all human interactions, and leads to false reports. Hence, reliability is in terms of results is low. Yeah, what this says is that there are some testing that requires interaction, that it requires, like, for example, if you want to do a video, that we want to test a video that you can record yourself. So there is no how you can record yourself on emulators. So because they have the specification already, so what you can use is that you can just make use of what they have as for like example. But if you are using video recording, you are testing it, then you can't use emulator. So that is the part of the downside it has. Then also real life scenario like color display in sunlight and SMS or phone interruptions cannot be easily stimulate or emulated using these virtual machines. You know, when under sunlight, you don't know how your screen will be, and on mobile devices, on emulators, on virtual devices, you cannot detect it. You can't detect the color to display when it's under sunlight. That is why on these mobile devices, you also use your own personal mobile devices to do some testing, which is part of what is okay, just to make sure that the functionalities are okay, are working perfectly. So that is that on mobile devices. Then we have challenges, importance, and criticality of mobile devices. So one is, what devices do we need to test? Because when you are half there and they ask you for something, that okay, when you have your grooming section or you're having your sprint planning like that. So it's part of what you need to know as a tester. They have to test a mobile application. You need to know, okay, what devices do I need to test? So, and some organizations, they didn't deploy the applications on all devices. Some of them, they have just particular versions. Maybe, for example, iOS, maybe the latest versions and maybe 3 downward. And that 3 downward, I mean, if iPhone 13 is the latest, so they expected you to test on iPhone 13, which is the latest version, iPhone 12, iPhone 11, and iPhone 10. So, you know, if you, as a tester, and you are testing iPhone 6, it will fail because the application is not deployed to that to the lower version of the devices. So this is very, very important, because if you don't know it, if you don't know that as a tester, you will just be confused that why is this thing, and you want to run your tests on all your applications. Let me run all these tests on all our applications, and you now go stuck at the lower side, maybe for Samsung as well. That especially Samsung, that a lot of people don't usually update the Samsung versions. You know, some people can be using the whole Samsung and they are still using it. They don't care. And peradventure your application, the companies doesn't extend their application to the lower part, then it's something as a tester, it becomes a challenge to you, and you need to know that and discuss that with the product owner. So that is what devices do we need to test. So you need to know which devices to test to be able to run your test effectively. You know, careful consideration of this required, and optimum combination of real and emulated devices is required to provide coverage before releasing business critical applications with defects. You know, I just explained that if the level of deployment of the application is to a particular versions and you don't know, you go and test every other thing, or peradventure they just selected on Android, company selected Samsung, Google, and some other applications that is not on all Android devices. You know, all these things you need to be considered. You need to ensure you discuss it with your manager. You know, consider it. It's very, very important. You know, it's part of your documentation that you need to document then. And you know what challenges will be faced if just particular application is being deployed to some set and is not deployed to other sets, you know, like that. Then also devices versions is also important, very, very important. You just have to know it, because like I said, depending on the target environment and business requirements, the tester also face challenges of having to test versions that are no longer updated. Just like iPhone 6, this iOS 6 that I said, if the company they didn't extend it to iOS, are you as a tester you're thinking, okay, the application works on iOS, and on your iPhone devices, you went and start testing on all those that are no longer updated. I know that is basically what iOS does. Once some of these updated versions are on, some of the features you have on other versions they are outdated. That is what they do, these iOS people, compared to Android. Android, you can still have some other features, but iOS, they block some of them. So as a tester, you just have to be on top of your game to know devices version, which is very, very important, to know what to do and how you can deal with it. Then also network connectivity, localization leading to offline. Some area you have might be even let's say that you have data, like under your this train, when you are underground, you are on underground and you're offline, it's part of what you need to test as a tester. So okay, you have to know some localization that, okay, if someone is under is in on the ground, there's no network, as in that is how it's being built that is how they want it. They don't want people to connectivity to occur in underground when you are boarding a train. That is part of it. Then which devices are online, which area will be online, which area will be offline, then weak signals with hubs, then becoming redundant due to lack of connectivity. When some areas that constantly do have network, which might causes your mobile devices, your app not to work. So that is part of what you need to know. Connectivity is very, very important. Like, for example, in my country there, some areas don't have network. So, and if as a tester you are being asked to test a app that, okay, everybody will be able to use, you should be able to know that, oh, this area, they always have network issue. So what can you do? Because it becomes challenges, and because it's critical, because your companies is losing in that area because they don't have network. So you should be able to these mobile devices. We have some of our, I'm not telling you where they are going to. They don't discuss with you the movement. They went to a particular area and they are not getting network. It happens a lot, especially where I come from. So it happens a lot. You are in an area and you're not getting you're not able to use your mobile devices. So it's part of what, as a tester, there's one thing we call localization testing. Part of what we need to look at is very, very important. Also, settings and configuration. Fragmented screen size with Android having about 24K and Apple ranging from 3.4 to 12. The configuration of how our mobile devices is being set up also is very, very important, because iOS is different from Android, and they're always competing with each other. So as a tester, this is part of what you need to know, and it's also is always a challenge. iOS might have like iPhone 13, and the screen will be as large as they have iPhone 13 that some are two screens and 2 cameras, some have 3 cameras. All those issues, you have to figure them out, how the settings and everything will be as a tester. Then different app types play an important role in mobile app testing, resulting in apps being tested in different ways. Like the way you test e-commerce app is not the way you would test your financial app. The way you test an eBay, it's not the same thing how you would test. So we just have to know that, oh, there are different ways that you can run your test. And basically, and it's also even part of testing as well. So the way you run your test is part of principles of testing. So the way you run your test is quite different. Some testing app, you don't have to, the way you run it is quite different. They are is testing its context. So you just have to know that the way you handle this app is different from the way you handle another app. So we need to have that at the back of our mind as well. Then mobile testing tools. We have many tools out there with challenges in choosing which one is suitable. Appium has their own, SourceLab have their own, BrowserStack have their own, Calabash, Synology. So these mobile tools is one of the important things. If you are peradventure, you are someone like me, you are so lucky as well, you got an employment and they ask you to develop the test framework from the scratch. You know, you have to look at which tools will be best, because tools have their own challenges as well. You have to look out for tools that you'll be able to maintain. You have to look for tools that will not be the setting up framework will not be an issue for in the later years, because you are setting up a test framework and from time to time you have to you be in an organization. You cannot be there for life. Other people will come, but if you are setting it up, you ensure that what you are setting up is basically free inch. The framework is very, very important what you are using. So and it should be able to adapt to any updates from that app, because from time to time most of these tools, they do upgrade. They always upgrade their version. So that's part of what we need to look at. It's part of challenges. Mobile testing tools, always a challenge. Which one will be is much more compatible with which one? You know, like Appium, SourceLab, BrowserStack. So you have to just look at what each and every one of them does and how it's being done. So it's very, very important for you to know that as well. Then we have categories of mobile testing. Mobile testing have the way we have in web application, we also have it in mobile testing as well. You know, documentation testing is usually number one, because when you want to do your mobile testing, they will give you like the definition of what I give is that the beginning of mobile testing takes place from documentation testing, which is the preparation of stage. The tester is aware of the screen layout, navigation charts, and other requirements. These particular categories of testing, a lot of people don't usually have it, but because of what I've experienced in my place of work, so I knew that documentation testing is very, very important, because it's a new product. They are just doing it for the first time. It has not been in place, so I was being asked to pick it up. So I have, from time to time, every stages of the meeting I'm there, because I need to know, I need to be aware how the screenshot layout will be, which if, for example, if it is Figma, because the developer would design it, the UI UX will design how the mobile app will look. The navigations, the charts, all the requirements, the functionalities, you have to look at it. And that's the first documentation as a tester that you need to look at. When you go to your planning and everything, they will show you, and you always take notes, because when, you know, like the normal software process, you know, planning, you know, you plan, and this is just the normal STDL, you know, that if you are the way it is for web application, that's the same thing it is for mobile application. You know, you plan, and once you plan, you know, before development, testing, and then deployment. So and that is just the way it is. So you just have to do some documentation, which is very, very important. Then also functional testing. We have functional testing. This is testing whether your mobile application works as expected by checking functionalities as per requirement specification. You know, check all your functionalities, log in. Can user input the email address? Is the submit button, is it working? Is the page navigating to another page where it's supposed to navigate to? You know, is every functionalities on any page, web page, are they working? You know, all these things, anything functional, you know, you have to do it the way it's supposed to work on your mobile devices. So you just have to ensure it works. Then also usability testing to ensure efficiency, effectiveness, and satisfaction of the application, which is very, very important because that is the end product of how even your work, that everybody will clap for you when everything is glitch free and there's no customer that is complaining that I try to navigate is not I can't use it, you know, it's not navigating. I try to press this, something is not. So that is part of what we need to have to ensure that everything is working perfectly. Also, performance testing, you know, testing the application reaction and constancy under a specific workload. And I think I give an example here that, okay, peradventure, you are in stadium watching a football match where you have a lot of people, and a lot of people you are watching has the same, they are using almost the same application you are using. You understand? Maybe, you know, maybe they are on, everybody is on WhatsApp trying to test or trying to do video, or people are trying to do video at the same time to let people know where they are, you know, and the application is not working, you know, it's and maybe the time is supposed to load is taking some time, which will, and some application does that especially. So, and that is the work of performance testing, because we need to ensure how does the application react when it comes to like a large crowd of people. So it's good to do performance testing on our mobile devices. So it's very, very good. It's very, very good. It's part of testing that is very, very paramount to do while we are out there working. And also we have memory testing. Mobile devices comes with limited memories as compared to computers. Yes, we all know that. And this type of testing is performed to test the optimized memory usage by an application. As we all know that our computers have so many bytes that it won't complain. For some mobile devices, once you are downloading so many things, it will tell you it's full. Then you have to start deleting some old downloaded or installed applications for you to be able to have more room. So this is part of what we need to test as a tester. You know, we need to ensure that, yes, part of our mobile application is, you know, is people are able to use it to some extent, even if, so they're able to use it to some extent. Then also interruption testing, you know, and also because under this memory test, yes, okay, that is it, it's under installation. Okay, interruption testing. This is used to check interruptions due to incoming calls or SMS, low memory warnings, low battery warnings. It is while running the application. So like you are using your applications and peradventure maybe you are testing someone and a call is coming in, you know, so is it that the call cannot come in while you are testing and while you are sending a text message? So these are part of what we need to, even if you are testing, at least calls should be able to come in, so that even if you are not picking, and some will just, some devices will tell you, we give you options. Maybe you can say, call me back later or whatever. You know, all those things are the things we need to look at. And when we are doing our mobile testing, we need to be able, because a lot of people use it a lot like that. So does the incoming calls got interrupted while testing, or SMS got interrupted? So we need to look at it. Then does our application give memory warnings? You know, like that. Then low battery warnings, like while you are running the applications, we need to look at that. Then installation testing. Installation testing is used to check for the easy and smooth installation process, including updating and uninstalling. So your mobile application, so how the installation is it taking 100 days before it gets installed? So, and part of that is installation testing is even very is part of it's a must that we need to test as a mobile tester, because if your application is taking ages to install, people will not love using it, and we know how that will cost the company. Or if they want to update anything, it's taking them 100 days to update something, or in as much as they want to uninstall, and it's giving them so many issues, they can't just press and uninstall. Then that application needs to be checked. Then we have best practices for our mobile testing. So these are the best practices are just what it entails, what we need to do, what we need to know while we are doing our test. Okay. While we are using our testing our applications. So the first, we have the test strategy. That is the first one, and basically devising this entails devising a testing strategy helps to lay down certain guidelines which all testers are expected to follow, and this brings uniformity in testing and ensure adequate test coverage. So what does this mean per se is when we want to do our mobile testing, first of all, strategize, what you want to do. How do you want to go about your testing? The approach, the objective, understand, your test environment you want to use, your tools, you have to lay down everything, basically. And we all know that test strategy is high-level plan, and that entails everything that you want to do in your testing, including your test environment, your tools, approach you want to use in testing, and the objective. So it's very, very good so that you can have adequate test coverage. And then we have tests on real devices. Why emulators and simulators are really useful in testing in the early stages of development. The app needs to be tested sufficiently on actual devices too. Tests on real devices ensure test results are realistic and give the tester a better idea regarding the looks and feel of the app and its general usability. Yes, because like I said earlier, when you are running your test, it's always good for you to also run it on your own personal phone, because that is what will give you how the application is. It will give you the actual how it looks, and generally because when users are using it, they are using it right with phone on their hands. Fine, emulators are very good for adequate test coverage as well, for you to be able to develop so many samples. But at the same time, when it comes to functionalities that, yes, if I want to enter my password, 147 something is pressing, it gives you even yourself, oh yes, I know this what I've done on this particular app I've tested is working perfectly. So that is why we also need to run on real devices. But in as much as companies can't give you all devices, the one you have, please always make use of it as well to run your test. Is always very good as well. Like I said earlier, you know how the look and feel of the app is when you are using your new devices. Then test early and test often. That's part of principles of testing anyway. So start testing as soon as development has reached a logical stage. This helps to identify issues early before they become too costly to fix. So, and that is basically principles of testing. So you just have to start testing as soon as possible so that anything that needed to be fixed can be fixed on time. We know that when all this mobile app is there for native app, somehow the one for Android is different for the one for iOS. So at peradventure you leave everything till later, or you are just testing Android, you didn't test iOS, and at the end of the day, iOS has issue. it is a big problem. So as you are testing, so start running your tests on both Android and on both iOS as soon as possible, and you test as often as you can. Then we have set device and operating system preference. This might be virtually impossible to test exhaustively on all devices, which is part of software principle. So network and operating system combination. Determine upfront which devices and operating system your app will specifically cater to and perform quality assurance on them. Please, it's very, very important. You have, because this you have to set your devices and operating preferences, and it has to align with business requirements. Please, it's very, very important. So, and you just have to ensure that you know the one your company has for you, has want you to do. Like I said earlier, like I said example, if they want maybe the devices to run on application for iOS, like the latest versions and maybe 4 downward, you just have to know and set your preference on that particular thing, and you don't go down and wasting time and wasting resources as well. Then automate testing. Automation greatly reduces time to market and generate high ROI, that is return on investment, besides giving the benefits of repeatable testing. You know, so what but an important factor is to keep it in mind. So when you want to, part of best practices for your mobile app, some companies might say they are not doing automation, they're not doing automation testing. And some might say, okay, just only manual testing we want to do. It depends. But as a mobile tester, you need to be able to let them know that, oh, when we automate some of our testing, this is how it works. When you do your automation, you automate testing. And apart from doing automation testing, you can do API. We have API automation as well. So it's not basically using your programming language. So we have API. You use Postman, you use Swagger, and you put them in automation. You convert them to automation, and you start running your tests. So that is part of best practices we can also let our company knows about. Then check battery consumption, fault tolerance, and interoperability. You know, power hungry apps must likely get deleted if every time people want to like install your app is consuming so many digits. You know, people will not want to do that. So be sure to check how much battery your app consumes. It's very, very important while you are running the test, so that you can always give advice to the product owner. Also check how well it works with other popular apps and how it adjusts to negative conditions like varying network strength or suspended connections. Network strength is like, you know, when we are having all these 5G, 4G, whatever that. So you need to be able to know how your application works as a mobile tester. And then ensure your app is truly global. Your app will have worldwide appeal only if it adapts to various geographies. Ensure it supports languages, currency, and even popular social networks of prominent markets. You know, that is basically what we need to. We just have to, even as a tester, this is part of our work to ensure we let our product owner or our bosses know that if we want to test this mobile application, it's part of what we just geographical testing is very good, and you know, localities when if it supports different languages. So basically that is what part of the best practices for mobile testing. Then mobile testing tools. We have various testing tools. We have so much. We have like Appium. Appium is an open source cross-platform test automation framework to use with native, hybrid, and web apps. So you can use Appium for any of the three. It drives iOS and Android apps using the WebDriver protocol. And this WebDriver protocol differs for iOS and Android. So basically, that is how it has been spelled. And it's based on Selenium and interact with application UI. That is when we use Appium tools. And we also have Browser Stack. Browser Stack, this provides cloud-based testing for native and hybrid app on Android and iOS. Browser Stack they are companies, so they host virtual devices. So companies purchase them, and you go there and you run all your tests, your virtual tests on their own virtual devices. So it is based on Appium open source as well. So your browser stack can be connected to Appium as well, and they work hand in hand. So that is part of it. Support scale testing on Android and iOS emulators and emulators. So many devices that you can use on browser stack. They have almost over 500 that you can use. Then perform testing on both open source as well as commercial framework. So you can do free trials, and you can have so many and you can have enterprise as well. So we have Source Lab. Source Lab is just the same as browser stack. So if you don't use, some companies use browser stack, some companies use Source Lab. So provide cloud-based testing for native and hybrid apps on Android and iOS. It's based on Appium open source project, so you can use it as well on Appium. It supports scale testing on Android and iOS emulators and emulators as well. Then perform testing on both open source as well as commercial framework. So it's just the same thing as browser stack. So you can use either browser stack or lab or Source Lab, and some other devices like that. Then testing and tools devices like that you can use. So that comes the end of this section. So, wow. So any questions? Okay. So any question? Okay. Well, that's good. Okay.
Sorry. That is usually manually tested, but few automation testing is required. Is that true always?
When you are doing your mobile testing, you can do manual testing and automation testing. Loads and loads of companies always do most of the test coverage on manual testing.
Okay.
But they do automation testing as well, but not in full scale like manual testing. So so in so many companies, manual testing for mobile devices is like 75%. You just of the functionality, yes, it's like 75%.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I think in absence of her, so it's 10 o'clock.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sorry about that. I didn't get it. Yeah. Can you go to? There are two slides that I missed there. There is slide. I believe your slide 14 when you were talking about. I think that was challenges between challenges and strategy. Yeah, I think. No, I think after. I think it's after this one. Otherwise, you need to test. Okay.
Is it this one?
I think slower. No, next one, please.
Okay. Is it this one?
Sorry, next one again.
Is it on
Yeah, I
challenge?
think yeah, it should be between challenges and strategy around that area.
Okay. These have the challenges. These are the challenges. And these are the categories. And these are the best practices.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, I think it's on this one. I see.
Okay.
I think I missed that slide. Anyway, let me you can go on. I missed that slide.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay.
Sorry, when you say set, I think it's this one, but I'm not sure. But you know, this setting here. So
Yeah.
basically, are you saying that usually the business will give you a configuration, and then they will say, oh, this is the configuration they want this application to work on. And then when you are testing, you test only on that configuration. Or can you go outside of that configuration to test?
No, you have to test based on the company's requirements. You have to, because when you go outside your company preferences, it won't work, because they will not deploy that application on any devices that or operating system that they don't want it to work on. For example, if your company was for iOS, for example, they deploy the application to iOS from 13 to maybe probably 10 or 9. If you go to iPhone 6, you can't get it. If you go to iPhone 7 to run your test, you won't see the application there. And if you go to iPhone 8, you won't see it there. Because and you'll be wondering that why is this application, I can't get this application on this particular devices. So you might be thinking it's a bug, but whereas it's not a bug, that is the preferences, and that is what the company have already set on the devices and operating system. So you just have to know which one is which. You have to have it at the back of your mind, so that when you are running your test, you won't go below or beyond what the company wants, so that it will aid your own testing as well. So I won't just be testing on what is not required. Some testing might just, like some companies rather, they might just tell you, okay, it's just Android and iOS they want to test on. They're not testing on BlackBerry. They are not testing on Nokia. They're not testing on Windows, because the applications are not deployed there. So these are the things you need to know, that okay, where can I get this applications on, which devices and which operating system can I get it? So you just have to know which one is which.
Yes, thank you. Probably I should frame the question this way.
Okay.
The network, okay, let me be specific now. The network area, I think, is it not supposed to be like what we as testers we will choose to test, for example? Or do you say the company will say, oh, you need to test it on wireless, you need to test it on 4G, you need to test it on 5G, 3G, and stuff like that? Or is it kind of I'm not too clear about that area. You know, obviously the application itself will have requirements, and then the business will have areas where they want you to run it, like you have explained. But when it comes to the network, I just want you to share more light on that. Are we responsible to test it on the network, or the organization will be specific on the kind of network where you have to test it? Maybe mobile, maybe 5G, maybe 3G, and so on and so forth.
Yes, when it comes to network, it's tester's responsibility to test it. The company will not tell you to. They don't have limits on the network connectivity. So it is you as a tester that will know. First of all, you find out that some people don't even know the latest this thing we have. You understand? So it's part of what we need to know. Company will not tell you, but the connectivity that are stable, that are okay. You just have to know it and test all your applications there, because your users that are using the applications, you don't know which one they are using. So you as a tester, we just have to like do it. You have to run your application on it. Peradventure, if a user is using 2G and is one of your best customer, so you just have to ensure that your application runs on all the network connectivity. So it's your work, not the work of. What the company does is to set the devices and operating system, but every other thing, battery consumption, fault tolerance, is the work of mobile testers to know.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question?
Hello.
Hello.
All right. So I just want to ask quickly: are we going to be having a workshop on mobile testing anytime soon?
Okay, you mean the practical section?
Yes.
Sure, because that is why before I jump into practical section, that was the introduction, because people need to know what to do, so that when we are doing our practical section,
Okay.
practical section is even the easiest, because as a tester, you know how to automate, you know how to do it, but what is basically do you want to do out there when in your place of work, when they give you a mobile application to do? It doesn't go beyond you just running your test. Like I just explained, if you don't know that your application needs to be set to a particular standard and you went and be testing everything, it will just be giving you error. So that is the essence of this particular section. You just introduce us to what is expected for us to do out there, because there is not everything that the organization will tell you. So there are some things they expect you to have known. The difference between iOS and Android, different platforms like that. So they expect you to have known it, but it's not everybody that knows that. And the way the application works on iOS is different from the way it works on Android and the likes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I think in the absence of, is there any question again? Okay. So I'll use this opportunity to say thank you, everyone, and let's have a wonderful night. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful session.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, good night.
All right. Thank you. Good night.